before I did the iPod Touch 5th generation screen, and I left out the key part up here. So it's another iPod that I bought to redo this video. So hope you all appreciate it, and let's get started. So I like to use razor blades because they're a lot easier to get in on these edges, and it leaves a lot less marring, or leaves no marring actually if you use them right on the edges. So there's going to be clips along the edges here, and you're just going to try to get those to release on there, and along the bottom you're just going to slip this in, try to get this glass is cracked really bad down here, so I'm going to do a double video here, and I'm going to put one, so I'm going to leave this webcam here in the front, and then the overhead cam, so hopefully we can get everything captured on video that we need. It's hard doing these because you gotta put them sometimes in different angles to work on them. Trying to keep everything in picture is sometimes hard, so I apologize. On the other video I had on my channel here, I know it sucked, sorry. I offered to have somebody send me their iPod, and I would do a video just like this, repairing it for them. And then I get the video out of it, but nobody took me up on that, so I just went ahead and bought one that's broke here. Okay. The biggest thing to watch out for is just make sure up here, don't pry along this top edge where the camera is. You don't want to pry there. All these little clips. You're not going to get anything underneath the screen on the sides here. There's these little clips all along the edges that need to be released. Alright, so we got that off. Now we're going to want to take, and I apologize for the audio, camera's up there, so hopefully we can hear it fairly well. So I'm going to take this off. It's the home button. Try to get it to come off with the stick 'em on there. Looks like part of it's going to come off. If you've got new home button rubbers to go around the edges that have the adhesive, it works a lot better. This one unfortunately is going to come off. And then you can take a brush or get all this grime off there around the edges. Toothbrush works really well if you got one handy to clean all that. Put that off to the side. Alright. So the next thing we're going to do is this metal plate. We're going to go ahead and take that off. And the screws might be different sizes, so if you want to put them down on your table in a pattern so you know where they came from, that helps. Some of them are different lengths. Okay, once you get that, you're going to need to carefully pry up the home button flex. You're going to want that detached from the plate here. Just make sure you don't cut it. Like so. We're going to remove this plate. Set that off to the side. Alright, now we need to disconnect our logic board. And this is the quick way to repair these. If you want to take more of this stuff out, you can. It's not necessary though. As long as you can adequately get back in behind the board here, because once the front camera comes disconnected, it's kind of hard to get that reconnected again. Alright, so we're going to pull the camera out of its... I'm going to be careful with these because they will split in half. You'll separate them right in half. Alright, so we got that that pulled out. Your little kit came with all this stuff. The suction cup's basically worthless. This plastic pry tool definitely comes in handy trying to move this. Since we can't disconnect our battery on this, it's soldered down. So this one's, I've drained it as far as it can go. So hopefully we don't have any, we're going to have some residual power, so you have to be careful. You don't want to use any metal tools around in this area. We're going to want this back camera to come out of its, we're not going to disconnect it, but we want it to come out of its little housing here. Like that. There's no screws holding that in, it's just a flex that's got some adhesive right here. Right there, it's kind of stuck down, so we just want to lift that up out of there, like so. There, just let it come disconnected. That way it doesn't restrict us from lifting our board up. We're going to have a Wi-Fi antenna over here in the corner that's going to want to come disconnected. Let me take a look here. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and looks like we already have one cable. It's our rear camera. Our rear camera came off. So that's not good. It's hard to get that reconnected. Alright, so we're going to lift this board up. And if you can, you're going to try not to... Make sure this is in camera here. We're not going to try and disconnect that Wi-Fi cable. So it is going to be kind of a pain. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Make sure we're in camera here. Okay. So basically what we're doing up here is we're going to release this side cable with our plastic tool. Just going to rock gently until that pops loose. And we're going to pull that out of the way. And then we're going to have this cable here, our other one, and we're going to gently do the same. Rock underneath of it until it comes disconnected. Alright, so now we got our screen disconnected. We'll take a closer look inside there. So we have one connector here, and then we get the other one that comes around the side here and connects here, and then our camera connects here. Now we're going to want to reconnect our camera. And that connector is going to be right next to this cable underneath the board. So the best way to do it is to try to set it. This is where multiple hands come in handy if you got them. It's going to be really hard to reconnect because it doesn't like it's. Okay. So you kind of have to get it in place and then pinch it with a pair of tweezers. So in order to do that, we're going to have to let's try setting our camera back in our housing here. Like so. That way our flex cable, we can try to get that back underneath there, like so. That might actually allow us to get that reconnected a little easier. Let's see if we can't, if it won't self-align. Okay, I got it, but then our Wi-Fi cable came undetached here, so now I gotta retest that. Okay. So it's gonna take some working if that happens to you. But in order to get that back at town, this camera's not focusing very well. Let's see if I can attach inside there. You just gotta kind of work it around in there until it kind of fits into the keyway of the connector, and then just pinch it down with a pair of tweezers, like so. Try not to touch the board with these because they are conductive. Alright, so now we got that reattached. We reattached our Wi-Fi cable here in the corner underneath the board. It's right underneath this third little gold prong. Alright. So now we're ready for our new screen. I'm going to take this red film or whatever film may come on yours. Might be blue, it could be white. I want to make sure this is removed. I'll leave that in there. And then I believe this is the same generation. Yeah. So front camera's keyed the same way. A 5th and 6th generation are interchangeable. You just have to trim the 6th generation to fit a 5th generation because you have to trim the edge of the camera to get it to fit, but it will fit. Alright, so now we want to make sure you don't want to bend these cables here too very far forward. You don't want to pull them up along this edge of the screen, or you'll fry the screen. It'll be white, or it just won't work. All right, so usually the edge one is the easiest to get first. So we're basically going to use the remaining adhesive that was on here to hold that cable in place. You can bend this cable here, pinch this so it kind of hooks around. This takes a lot of patience. Just take your time. Once you get this lined up, it's going to be kind of the same way you did the rear camera. If you had to put that back in, you're going to try and find the keyway. Once you find the keyway, you're going to kind of gently press. Try to put this thing into its socket. This is almost impossible to show what's going on in here, but there's, the connector is underneath the board. You just kind of have to have patience getting it hooked up. If you can't get the connector connected, when you feel like working with the struggle, you can disconnect the Wi-Fi and you can disconnect this middle cable, and then your board will actually come all the way out and you can get the two side cables. Then you're going to be fighting to get this one reconnected and the Wi-Fi reconnected. So I'll go ahead and show. So we'll disconnect the Wi-Fi. We're going to disconnect this back cable here. So now your board will come out a lot further, and you can actually see the connectors back up underneath there a lot better. So we could actually make sure our camera's connected. We could actually come in here and plug this in. So we got that one. I'll kind of keep control of your LCD too to make sure you're not tweaking that cable. So we got that one. Alright, so those are connected. Now, like I said, we're going to have to fight to get this back connector reconnected. And it likes to go back to the way it was. Alright, so we got that. We need to reconnect our Wi-Fi cable over here in the corner. It likes to be a pain in the ass. Alright, got it. So everything's reconnected. So we're basically going to push our board back down gently. Make sure we don't disconnect anything. Pushing it. Reseat our rear camera in this little hole. Before you go any further, make sure the rear camera lens is clear. Nothing fell down in there while you were a piece of glass or whatever. Make sure it's clear. And then if there's any stickum left over, you can use that to push it down. Now the board's going to kind of misalign with these 3 holes here, so you kind of have to hold it with your finger and massage it around until it snaps in there. Until the holes line up. And then just grab a screw and secure the board in. Okay, so the board's secure. We're going to place our camera in the lens holder. Okay, so far so good. Then we're going to need our plate. I have to clean off this glass. This is by far the worst condition this can be in. It's having that cracked glass on there because it's really hard to get the little tiny shards off there. And you don't want any residual glass underneath there. Just once you go put your screen on and you press it down, if there's a piece of glass anywhere here on this metal, it's going to push through your. So you're going to 1, crack your screen, or 2, leave a white mark if it punctures this black area here. If it cracks your LCD, you're out of luck. If it leaves a white mark, it's however much you can or can't live with. It's going to be a cosmetic issue then. Alright, got all the glass off there. Let's get this glass out of the way. And we're going to put this back in. Make sure home button flex cable comes through the hole down here. And then we'll start putting our screws in. Start up here. Go over here. Put one down here in this corner. Okay, I'm going to put our home button in. This thing will probably not stick in here. I might have to order a new one. There's going to be clips up here at the top. You have to seat in first. And then in order to get this to sit down in there, just slide our fingers along the edges, nice and easy. Any dents down here on the bottom, it might prevent it from seating in. We got one dent there, so it's going to prevent that from seating in there, right? So I'm going to have to use some kind of because you don't want to force it. Sometimes shaving the edge helps. Well, I'll have to work on that. I have a dent there. That's not going to let me seat my screen, but basically that's pretty much it there in a nutshell. That'll seat in there. And I'll take our power here, plug her in. We got our charge icon. So our screen is connected. As far as the dents on the corner, they do make a toolkit you can latch on there, and it reshapes the corners. And then they also have for the straight edges, where with everything off, you use that tool to hook on and then wrench down. If you're just doing a one-time repair, probably not worth getting that tool. If you're doing this yourself, you could probably run into a repair shop and ask them if they would straighten the edges for you. Anyway, I did test this before I took this down. I just let the thing discharge before we did the repair, so I'm happy with the battery icon showing up. I shouldn't have any issues with this, but that's pretty much it. Hopefully I showed how to change that a lot more detailed and in the view in the camera. So good luck. You got any questions, leave the comments in the below. I'll link where I bought my screen in the comments. Thanks.